I accidentally use Google as a verb when I'm searching on someone's website for everything.
God, you're old.
I know that, Dad.
Let me Google it. I'm just Googling in my pantry. Sorry. Kidding, rude.
Hello and welcome to The Big Con, the podcast dedicated to demystifying and simplifying the world of strategy, exploring its impact on businesses and individuals who've either harnessed it for success or perhaps missed the mark. I'm Emily, Harvard degree candidate.
I'm Dale, big business nerd and content aficionado, self-proclaimed.
And we are bringing you in on the con, sharing the valuable lessons from both the failures and triumphs of those who've come before us. And Dale, you've got a little snippet for us today.
I do, and I think I'm going to regret putting this into a snippet, not a long form, but I just thought that if we at least contained it to our shorter episodes, we contain ourselves, because it's a lot. But today we're going to be talking about X, formerly known as Twitter.
Ah, yes.
I know you're surprised. You would expect to see this in a case study episode. It used to be, for everyone who doesn't know and been living under a rock, the microblogging platform where you could put 140 characters into the world, or you could once do that. Twitter. It was a beacon of connectivity before 2023. It was bringing immense value to users worldwide. It was a microblogging and social network platform that offered a unique space for individuals to share their thoughts, stay informed, and engage in conversations within 280 characters, so they eventually uplifted it. It was a often vibrant and sometimes eclectic hub for real-time news, enabling people to stay in the know, respond to global events swiftly. On Twitter, influential figures, celebrities, and activists use their voices to inspire and unite communities, leading to impactful movements, so very much had a big role in Black Lives Matter, also had a big role in the Me Too movement. The platform was also a playground for businesses to engage with customers and grow their brands. Twitter's value was rooted in its ability to amplify voices, create connections, and identify exciting sources of information. Now, for anyone who takes that out of context, I'm glossing over some pretty big issues. Twitter was full of online harassment. It was full of hate speech. It was full of fake news and misinformation. It was full of an algorithm that wasn't overly transparent. And it was a big vehicle for echo chambers. But I'll come back to that. For those who don't know, October 27th, 2022, Elon Musk famously completed a deal to buy Twitter for $44 billion US. It has now been revealed that a year on from that, Twitter is worth less than half that at roughly $19 billion. Crazy. You would be very hard pressed to find a similar case study of destruction of value, particularly when a company's still operating. Sure, it happens in terms of when companies do the wrong thing and they get completely wiped off the stock market. We've seen that in Wirecard and other businesses we've looked at. This is a business that, in theory, is still going, however, has lost $25 billion. To give a quick timeline of how the purchase came about, in January of 2022, Musk bought shares and became a majority owner of Twitter. He then spent the next few months critiquing the current operations of Twitter, calling its algorithm policies outdated, biased, and ineffective. He did all this through Twitter. In April of 2022, he announced his intention to buy Twitter and want to make it a platform for the future, and made it his best and final offer at a 38% premium. So he was already overpaying for it. There was a bit of argy-bargy and corporate shenanigans, but eventually Twitter's board accepts this offer. Musk tried to back out of the deal at one point. He claimed that most of the Twitter activity is spam bots and fake accounts, and he's really trying to get out of it. Twitter then sues Elon to force him to make the deal. Messy, and perhaps some cold feet for Mr. Musk. Regardless, it goes through, and Musk enters the Twitter head office. He fires the CEO, the CFO, the legal counsel, and another 7,500 staff. It's a lot of change. And honestly, the decisions made in the year after have really confused me. So, Em, I'm really hoping we could diagnose the strategy here, and we can identify the plan, because I don't see it. And for those who need to be made aware, Elon Musk has done plenty in companies that design physical products, and he's done that really well, and really complex physical products. He's pioneered reusable space rockets with SpaceX. He's given the internet to the far reach of the earth with his Starlink satellite platform. Tesla has pretty much revolutionized the car industry within the electric car. There's this whole PayPal thing as well, where he got a lot of his money from, and a little bit of nepotism. But his credentials in that space are verified. He's, in theory, an intelligent man and a good business operator. But social media, it's a new frontier for the man, and one that I don't feel like he's overly equipped to handle based on the current metrics. Now, I'm going to detail a few reasons why you might buy a business, because that's what he did. He effectively bought a business. And the counterintuitive things that Elon has done since buying Twitter, which has me going, what is the strategic vision here? What's the plan? So, Em, a reason you might want to buy a business. You want the brand. You think, this is such a phenomenal product. You want to avoid the stuffing around and building brand recognition. Twitter had incredible brand recognition. Generations across all ages were aware of it. The little bird iconography was easily identified whether or not you used the platform. Reports had the value of Twitter anywhere between $4 and $20 billion.
And yeah, careers like journalism, if you didn't have a Twitter account, you couldn't operate, you couldn't be in that career. Like it's
100%.
It was really, really critical.
Journalism is a massive contributor to Twitter at that time as well. It was a source. It was a space in which people reported information and broke information first. It was synonymous with that space, and it was one of the main reasons it really gave the media component to social media. And when your business or product gets to verb status, you're good. So if you think about Google, how many people say, oh, listen, I'll Google it? If you think about the product Photoshop and how photoshopping something is synonymous with editing a photo. During the pandemic, we all got excellent at saying, let's Zoom, regardless of what virtual meeting platform you're on. And one of my favorite examples is I used to call my dog a Hoover because of her ability to suck up a whole bunch of food. And Hoover got its origins from a vacuuming company. So, new big con rule, if you're a company becomes a verb, you're doing something right. Or wrong as well.
Yeah.
Little reprieve then. What do you reckon our verb would be? Do you reckon people could be conquered by our podcast?
Oh, you thought about this.
Are people listening getting conned, or are they conning? Somebody.
I
stop me.
I like conquered. I think it's good. We've conquered strategy, which we haven't.
I'll get some t-shirts printed.
Can't wait.
Back to Twitter. Considering the brand value, why would you own this product, pay a premium, and change it to something else? That's right. The bird is dead, and the platform is now called X. I'm not going to delve into how this was announced through an errant tweet one Sunday afternoon, or how he used a stock motion graphics template you can buy off a marketplace for $16.50 to reveal the brand new logo. The rationale? Well, in a tweet, which it was at the time, Elon revealed that he had acquired Twitter under his umbrella company, X Corp, to be a freedom of speech platform. And while the Twitter name made sense when it was only about messaging, it was going to be a lot more and it will become a lot more, so we must bid adieu to the bird. So with that line of thought, maybe it's because you want the tech. That's why you might buy a business. The business has this unique code powering its platform. You might want the algorithm. So you want that. Sure, $44 billion is a lot of money, but that's what you want. But then you go in and you fire almost 80% of the workforce who are maintaining the code and exclaim loudly about how bad it is and that you'll need to clean it up. You then put the algorithm on GitHub to be interrogated and publicly call it embarrassing. It was also revealed that the Twitter algorithm was dividing people into a few groups. One was Democrat, another Republican, and another Elon. Weird. So it's not the tech that he's buying. Now, maybe the third reason he might be buying it, it's a social media company and they're tricky from my understanding. This one has roughly 200 million active users per month at the time of buying. Maybe he's buying the people who signed up and coming to the platform for a particular thing. Sure, it's costly, but Twitter eyeballs are valuable ones. People who are on Twitter spend on average 30 minutes per session. Acknowledging Twitter never did get its ad model right. But once you buy the company, instead of delivering what most of your audiences know and love about the platform, or perhaps improving upon it, you make some pretty sweeping changes that turn the entire ecosystem of the place on its head. You fire the people responsible for safety, you give the keys of the kingdom to the inmates in the society, you put a collection of premium features behind a paywall, and you give those who pay special treatment. Oh, and right throughout this, you use this fancy new business you've purchased to make penis jokes, post some relatively divisive comments, and challenge Mark Zuckerberg to cage matches. Sure. Let's take a break, because I'd love to get to the bottom of this. What is this potential Bond villain doing? There's a strategic mission, which I'll reveal when we return, but I need to figure out the steps taken to get there. I think I'm missing something.
Maybe you're not.
Emily, welcome back. I've just come from my X feed, which still just doesn't roll off the tongue as well as the Twitter app did, but so be it. I'm not the richest man, one of the richest men in the universe, so maybe I don't understand And I want to address that we haven't actually called out some of the problematic things that Musk has done recently, both as an individual and as a result of his actions at the helm of Twitter. There are much better resources for that than we can tackle here today. Hey, Conquerors, quick little editorial note. We recorded this episode before Elon Musk got on stage at the DealBook conference and told ex-advertisers to go and F themselves. A reaction from Musk after a whole collection of advertisers, from Apple to Disney to Coca-Cola and AMB, reportedly took their important ad dollars away from X due to some anti-Semitic comments from Elon. In that same interview, Elon then went on to threaten these companies that it would be the advertisers' fault that X dies, and all of Earth will know. In general, it fits with the whole theme of I just don't get the strategy, and what I believe is a really important update to consider. Okay, back to the pod. Also, I want to reveal that we kind of know what Musk intends to do with X. A vision statement of sorts.
Yes.
He wants to make it an everything app, similar to China's WeChat platform. A place for commerce, a place for messaging, video, marketplace, everything. You would only need one app on your phone. He's also recognized what he's good at, and it's not being the CEO of the company. So Elon Musk did bring in a new CEO, while he ran the product. For those who've heard him speak about what he's doing to get to Mars, how his mission to make electric vehicles is to save the world, transitioning to green, and buying Twitter is an attempt to protect and create a town marketplace. So I can imagine a world in which Mars is powered on this everything app, and everyone uses that to get their daily news around the asteroids coming in. Sure, whatever. But from my lens, there's a better way to do it. And maybe this is where I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Mainly when you have to spend $44 billion to destroy your known brand, take your monthly active users down so substantially that it wipes off $25 billion of value, what am I missing, Em? Is this chapter one in another Elon Musk success story? Or is the spaceman out of his depth?
Well, I think, Dale, given this is a little short and sweet piece, I'm just going to pull three things out that I think perhaps we might be missing in this piece. And first of all, I'll hark back to what you were talking about in terms of X's, it just doesn't roll off the tongue, does it? X's vision statement. And actually, I don't know if you've ever seen Tesla's strategy, but it basically was a list of goals that Elon Musk wanted to achieve. So it was a very, very short, written on a tiny piece of paper, and it was just a list of goals. So we can't confuse goals and vision for strategy and any sort of this is how I'm gonna do it. So first thing is I think maybe Elon is confusing goals for strategy, or he's not, and he just thinks it's not his problem as to the how.
Em, I've got the statement for Tesla.
Yeah.
It's create the most compelling car company of the 21st century while driving the world's transition to electric vehicles. Sure, that's admirable.
Great, a great vision statement, but it's not a strategy. And I feel, and I believe Elon was marketing it as one. So I think either he just doesn't care how it's done and thinks that that's enough is to visualize and manifest, if you will. It seems like as well he's really getting into some of the decision making because he thinks it's gonna get him there, but he hasn't really thought about the overall picture. The other thing I want to touch on is the rebranding piece. So I think if we look at someone who knows and understands social media like the Zuck, he's
a master at it. Regardless of the problematic spaces he does in that, he is a master at social media. Threads, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Masterful control of those three platforms.
And the thing is he rebranded also. He changed things to Meta. But what he understood is the attachment to the brands of Facebook and Instagram, and that they had a lot of clout in their current existence, and he just created an umbrella company. So he was like, I can go further. So Elon Musk is like, Twitter is too small. It's like, okay, build on it. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is what I would say. Similar
to how Google didn't change their name to Alphabet, but their parent company is Alphabet, and they retained Google because that's the brand and the path.
You'd be mad to lose Google. Mad. I accidentally use Google as a verb when I'm searching on someone's website. It's just a tiny search engine. I'll Google it on the site. Like, for everything.
God, you're old.
I know that, Dad.
Let me Google it. I'm just Googling in my pantry. Sorry, getting rude.
So anyway, the third piece, in Tesla, Elon was building something from the ground up that didn't exist yet. He was moving into a space that was relatively untapped. It was a blue ocean space. With Twitter, he inherited something that was already running in a way that maybe he wouldn't have run things. So he burned everything to the ground and was like, we're going to do it again my way, which worked for Tesla because he was in a blue ocean space. It doesn't work when you're in an absolutely flooded market like social media, where people have a very
you could draw
strong
parallels
opinion.
between SpaceX and the PayPal space. There were markets ripe for disruption.
Yeah, so I think that he's just in a space that he's not familiar with, and he's like, well, look, I'm going to do these things worked before. Shh, listen, these things work. But it's like, no, you're playing in a new space that you don't know. You're with an existing product that the customers and users have a very strong opinion on how they use it and what it's for. You also just cannot come into a company guns blazing and fire everybody. It does not create goodwill, whether you want to or not. A book I read somewhere that says when you're moving into a new job, even if you are super qualified, you have so many things on your resume and you know what you're doing, for the first 90 days, you should be doing a recon mission. And you should be getting to understand the lay of the land, because one company is not going to be the same as another. Nothing is going to be exactly the same, and the same things won't work again in a different space. Elon should have walked into Twitter and for the first 90 days been like, okay, how does this work? What are our customers like? You know, what is the value that we're promising here? What is it? But he went, no, everything's burning to the ground. We're starting again because I know how to start a company. I don't know how to come in the middle.
Did he mistake the user experience for the company experience as well, just from that capacity? And I think I'll riff on your comment around not changing a company when you buy it. It's a lovely story I heard recently around a company called eggcartons.com. As the name suggests, they sell egg cartons and they do well. They make millions of dollars. So a lady came in, she bought the company, and she decided to change some small things. First thing she looked at, she was like, Jesus, these phones, why are we still running on landlines? And so she went in there and upgraded all the phones to a digital experience.
Oh, no.
It all went horribly wrong because their big customers were using those landlines.
Who were using the landlines, yeah.
Everything was using it. And so they were lost almost, I think they were down for a week, let's say, based on something simple as changing the phone lines and upgrading it to a more digital system so that the phone can go to a mobile and be stuffed around. It was a VoIP arrangement. And because it would just change hands, everyone was like, oh no, is the company going out of business? We're going to have to find new egg carton suppliers. And so there's a really good thing around, just take a beat.
Fascinating. Just take a beat.
Understand before you change everything. Now, and we need to probably recognize something. Me and you are not the richest people in the world, as
Speak for yourself.
Mr. Musk does.
I'm not. I'm really not.
Financially, I've seen my bank account. I think Musk is doing better than me.
I live in a 2-bedroom apartment.
On that metric alone, Musk, who's got more money in their bank account, Musk is doing better. And so there might be something we're not seeing.
I don't know. Elon Musk lost more money than I did this year too.
I don't think you can say that, because he made the money he made off the growth in Tesla. He can pay the debt back. So this isn't going to be the end for him. So
it's like a net value.
Yeah, he's going all right. He's still one or two. He fluctuates between one or two richest people in the world. So he may have something that we're not aware of. I just want to clarify that this might be chapter 1. But there's other things he could be doing with this. He could be using it as a entirely different play. He could be scraping all of Twitter to power his new AI engine, Grok. That could be the space it happens. OpenAI was trained on a lot of Twitter information, allegedly. Yeah. And
in which case he doesn't care what happens to Twitter.
Correct. It's just a way for him it's a means to an end to some space. And maybe he's successful in making an everything app. I just don't know whether we want an everything app. Like, I like having a variety of everything apps. Yeah. And this kind of goes back to one thing I will add. As an individual, he's known to be a bit of increasingly so, a bit of a lad, a bit of a person who makes jokes about 420 and the number 69 and plenty of other things, and smokes weed on podcasts with Joe Rogan. Go nuts. Good luck to you. And I think if there is something, if he is moving towards making and everything out where people just trust to do everything in that space, you got to be like, well, do I want to give that man my credit card details? Do I want to have him the space of who has my identity, who's using everything for AI, who's also in control of the algorithm, controlling my car, et cetera, et cetera. There's some certain things around, and this is probably cautionary advice from a little Australian podcast that's given its all. Clean up your act, clean up your brand.
Yeah.
Like, you're on top. I think you've got sure, be yourself. I'm not saying do that, but understand the type of individual you are and why people are looking up to you. And if you're making these businesses that are wanting to change the world, be the person you want to see in that change as 100%. Well. And I think there's some work you need to do in that space.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're not behaving ethically, it will catch up. And if you're not doing right by the people around you, it'll catch up. It's only a matter of time. And maybe it's when you're dead. So maybe you can outrun it for a long time, but I think 100%. Eventually it will come to you.
I still generously look at this. I'm just like, I don't know what's next, and maybe there's a plan that we're not seeing.
Well, listeners, there you have it. You now understand a little more of the con. We hope that you have avoided losing $25 billion now and in the future. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Big Con podcast. It not only supports us, but means you will get all the latest episodes straight to your device. Do not keep all the fun to yourself either. Share the con around to your mother, your aunt, your best friend, brother. Tell them to check us out on all their favourite podcast apps. For any further details, head over to our website, thebigconsultingagency.com, and sign up to the mailing list. Bye for now. This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Woiwurrung language group. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.